Lemonada.
What if the life you built online suddenly became real and completely out of your control? In Carol Claire Burke's debut novel, Yesteryear, Natalie is a trad wife influencer with a picture-perfect life and millions of followers until she wakes up in 1855 and everything she's been romanticizing becomes something she has to survive.
Carol Claire Burke is also the co-host of the podcast Diabolical Lies, and readers are calling this book impossible to put down with a twist that's completely off the rails in the best way. Yesteryear is available now in print, audio, and ebook. Hello, we're here for More Happier, a podcast where we get happier. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, Gretch.
Today, we're revisiting one of the most useful strategies that I have found for dealing with clutter in everyday life. This is the 1-minute rule. It is truly one of the most popular ideas I've ever shared, and for good reason. If you use it consistently, it really does stop clutter before it piles up.
It also inspired a few other practical rules in the same vein, including one, Gretch, that kept my closet floor clean for the first time in years. So we'll get to those later in the episode, but first let's start with the 1-minute rule itself. What it is, why it works, and how to actually use it. Yeah, so Gretchen, we talked about the 1-minute rule in our very first episode.
Number one.
But it may be new to some of our listeners who have not heard episode 1. Also, because this is such a good tip, we decided we want to remind everyone about it, even if they heard about it way back in episode 1.
Yeah, because sometimes you know something, but you need to be reminded of it. So the 1-minute rule is very simple. It's that if there's anything that you can do in less than a minute, you do it without delay. So if you can print out a document, sign it, and scan it, if you can carry a dirty coffee cup and stick it in the dishwasher, if you can, here's my favorite, if you can hang up your coat instead of throwing it on a chair, if you can carry something from one room to another, anything you can do in less than a minute, you do without delay.
Or like even, make a doctor's appointment, answer an email, return a text, all of those things which hang on your head, but really only take a minute.
Well, and that's exactly why I wanted to bring it up again, because I haven't been doing this in recent months. I've sort of fallen out of the habit of it. And yet it's so powerful because the thing is, we feel very weighed down by those little tasks. They make us feel like we're surrounded by things that we have to do. And even if those things are very inconsequential and simple and easy, it just gives you that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do, so much to do. Whereas if you just do it as you go, it's not like you have to take any extra time because these are such small, brief tasks that they just get done as you go about your business. And I have to say, of all the things that I've suggested, this is the one that people most often mention to me as like, wow, I really saw a benefit from this right away. This really boosted my happiness.
And why do you think that is?
Part of it is that research shows that we overestimate what we can do in a short time. Like, oh, what can I do today? What can I do in a weekend? And we underestimate what we can do if we do a little consistently. And this is part of don't break the chain, or a lot of times the annual challenge is like, write 2 to 4 minutes. You might say, well, writing 2 to 4 minutes is so small. That's not 1 minute, but it's potentially 2 minutes, which is not that much more. But if you do it consistently, you can get a lot done without saying, okay, I have to block off 2 hours on my calendar, or I need to take an afternoon every weekend, which can feel, for people who have a busy lives, that can just feel like an insurmountable burden. Doing something 1 minute at a time feels possible.
And I like this. This is sort of, Gretchen, it deals with the outer clutter of life and the inner clutter.
Yes. Outer order contributes to inner calm, whether it's physical or mental. This is helpful. And, I think this kind of reminds me about what we say about a demerit, where by saying a demerit out loud, a lot of times it helps us to do a better job because we've sort of gone through the motions of articulating it. And I think that by saying this is a very valuable trad system home, I'm hoping that will remind me and kickstart me back, because I used to do this very, very faithfully, but I feel myself slipping, and that's just a less pleasant way to live.
Yeah. This is going to remind me to close those cabinet doors.
Yes.
Because I'll look at a cabinet door and go, it's not really worth it. But if I follow the 1 minute rule, I've got to close that door.
But see, I love doing that. To me, that is like the quickest, easiest way to give myself a little boost. But I know that's where we differ.
And just one more thing I want to mention is the 1 minute rule can also apply to all the self-care things that we talk about, like putting on moisturizer, flossing, brushing your teeth after lunch. Even though you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes, you could do it for one. It's better than zero. Putting on an eye mask. All those things that people feel like they want to do, but they don't have time.
Yes.
A lot of them only take a minute.
Yes, I know. Anything can be in the 1 minute rule. Okay, I love talking about the 1 minute rule because once you start using it, you really do start seeing opportunities for it everywhere. And over time, it's also led to a whole set of other simple time-based rules for dealing with clutter in the moment.
So coming up, we'll hear about two of those, the 5-second rule and power hour. Both can be even more useful than the 1 minute rule in certain situations. But first, this break. I have been doing a little spring reset with my closet lately, trying to focus more on quality over quantity, fewer pieces, but ones that are well made and easy to wear every single day. Gretchen, you know what I'm going to say? I love Quince for that. Quince makes beautiful everyday pieces using premium materials. They have 100% European linen, organic cotton, super soft denim with styles starting around $50. And Gretchen, I love their accessories.
Quince linen tops have become my go-to. The fabric feels substantial, but it's still easy to wear, and it does not cost what I thought quality linen would cost. Refresh your spring wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to QUINCE.com/Gretchen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen.
Are you a trailblazer, a risk taker, someone with countless tales of epic adventure? Well, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. Even the boldest among us started small, daring themselves to reach greater goals each day. If you're looking to take on a challenge like that, the Defender is too. It's a vehicle built for those capable of great things, whether you're charting new territory or just escaping the city for the weekend.
The Defender, engineered to meet challenges head-on so you can explore with confidence. An icon reimagined, designed for a new generation of explorers. Choose from the Defender 90, 110, or 130, seating up to 8 adventurers. With a tough-tested exterior, a modern and functional interior, and intelligent tech like 3D surround cameras and the Pivi Pro infotainment system, every journey feels limitless. Because like you, the Defender is capable of great things. Build your Defender today at LandRoverUSA.com.
Hey, it's Julie Louis-Dreyfus from Wiser Than Me, etc. Just popping in with a little reality check. Food waste shouldn't exist. There is no reason that our leftovers should end up in a landfill, but that's the final destination for about a third of the food we grow. God, our ancestors would be confused. They use their food scraps as compost, or as animal feed, or in weird soups, all the stuff we did before garbage was invented. But composting is hard work. Living with a bucket of rotten food on your counter is gross. Most food goes in the trash because it's easy. And these days, we'll take any easy we can get. But now there's something easier. Drop your scraps in a mill food recycler. It looks like a kitchen bin and an iPhone had a baby. It takes nearly anything, even meat and bones. It works automatically. You can keep filling it for weeks, and it never smells. When you finally empty it, you've got these nutrient-rich grounds. Use them in your garden, pour them in your green bin, or have Mill get them to a small farm so the food you don't eat can help grow the food you do, just like it should be. It's why I own a mill, why I invest in Mill, and why I'm still obsessed with my mill. If you want to get obsessed too, go to mill.com/wiser to get $75 off. That's mill.com/wiser for $75 off.
So, Elizabeth, a few weeks ago, you gave yourself a demerit. This was a repeated demerit for your super messy closet. This is something that just comes up in your life. You have this super messy closet problem. And we got an interesting suggestion from a listener.
Yes, this came from Sarah. She says, every time you walk in there, do something that takes almost no time at all. Like a spin-off of the 1-minute rule, but more like the 5-second rule. Or if you like better, I can't do everything, but I can do something. Pick up one hanger that fell to the floor. Put the scarf back on the hook. Pick up the price tag on the floor and put it in the trash. Turn that backwards hanger around. I think you'll be surprised how much progress you make with negligible amounts of effort put in when you're in your closet anyway. Well, this, for whatever reason, spoke to me, Gretch. I'm like, the 5-second rule. Like, the 1-minute rule, 1 minute is a long time if you think about it. But
the
5 seconds.
The 1-minute rule is my rule that I write about in Better Than Before, that anything you can do in less than a minute, do without delay, like put your coat on the hook or print out a letter and put it in a file. But you feel like 1 minute is too much. You need 5 seconds. This is working for you.
Yes. And a big thing for me is I'll have my shoes on the floor, but I have shoe shelves. So it's like such a thing of getting my shoes off the floor and onto the shoe shelves makes a huge difference in the closet. And it does take less than 5 seconds to put a pair of shoes on the shelf. So that's where I'm starting, is with when I'm in the closet, taking 5 seconds to put a pair of shoes away. And one thing I've noticed as I've started implementing this 5-second rule is if you do one thing, often you'll do two things. So 5 seconds might stretch to 10 or 15 seconds. But if I only feel that I need to do that one little thing, like throw away, the price tag, then I'll do it. And as Sarah said, it will add up and make a difference. If I'm in my closet a few times a day, that's several items that are getting put where they need to be. So
okay, but here's my question for you, Elizabeth. And this is where I'm gonna show my happiness bully side. My question to you is, why don't you just put the shoes on the shoe rack when you take them off? Why are you picking the tag off the floor and putting it in the trash instead of just ripping it, like you cut it off of a new shirt, and you put it in the trash automatically? Like, to me, that is the place for that 5 second to happen, is like hang up the I'm not saying that I do this all the time. For sure, I don't. But I'm just saying, like, you could just move the 5 seconds earlier in time and save yourself a whole step.
Gretch, I have no answer to that question. I have no idea why I don't just put the shoes on the shelf. I really don't. I think because I feel like I deserve to just leave them on the floor because I am tired.
Okay.
But, you bring up a good point. I should think about it.
Well, do you think is it that the tasks are really going into two different buckets? Like, one is like you doing your thing, which is taking off your shoes or taking the tag off of a shirt. And that's sort of your task, and you don't care. You fundamentally do not care, Elizabeth. You are clutter blind. You don't care. But then cleaning up your closet is really something you do for Adam. And so then this is like, I'm going to do this for Adam. So maybe that's why it's being two steps instead of one step, is because one is what do I want to do, and one is like what's being a considerate sweetheart.
Yeah, Gretch, I think you're onto something with that. But given that this is continued year after year, I think I should just focus on getting it cleaned up when it gets messy. I think it's a whole other level to not get to that point.
This is why I wanted you to get a closet door.
Yes. Well, maybe someday.
Okay, well, that was a great suggestion, Sarah. Elizabeth has been trying to crack this for years. You can go back to episode 10, where Elizabeth and I cleaned her messy closet, one of my all-time favorite episodes. Anything that helps. So this is a new tool, the 5 second rule. Excellent. Now, I came up with the idea of Power Hour because I wanted a way to have a habit of dealing with the non-recurrent, diverse, annoying tasks that just kept crowding onto my to-do list but that just never got done. There was nothing urgent about them. They didn't have to get done. So week after week would go by and I would just never get them done. But how do you have a habit of doing something that really you only have to do once? You only have to fix the office chair one time. So I decided I was going to set aside 1 hour, because 1 hour seems manageable even to me, 1 hour once a week for Power Hour, when I would tackle as many items on that list as I could.
I think this is a great idea. It's something I could really use because I have so many of those tasks that I don't even think of them as tasks. I just think of them as things that will never happen. Like the light bulb in our bathroom. It's been out probably 2.5 years. It just wouldn't even occur to me to do it, and I think, not only would a Power Hour be good for me, it'd be great to do with Adam. It's like we need a couples Power Hour where we do things that we need to do as a couple, like clean the garage. Well, I guess that's really more like a power 2 days that would take. Right. But again, it's something that will never happen if we don't set aside time. But this idea that this time is devoted just to these little tasks that build up and build up and build up, I think that's great. And I love the name Power Hour.
Well, and the fact is that something that can be done at any time is often done at no time, because you always think, well, I'll get around to it, but you never feel like getting around to it. And really, it's those tasks that you never start that exhaust you the most, because they just build up and they drain you. And every time you look in the bathroom and you see that light burned out, it sort of bums you out. But there's no plan for tackling it, so it just festers.
Yeah, you know what this also reminds me of, Gretch? Is Jane Espenson, who's a very talented TV writer here in LA. She on Twitter does these things called writing sprints, and she started it a while back. And she'll just out of nowhere say, okay, writing sprint at the top of the hour, do whatever project you want to do for an hour without interruption. It doesn't have to be writing. It could be knitting. It could be cleaning the kitchen. It could be editing. It could be anything. And it's like this focused time, and people really get excited about it and jump in and do it. And it's kind of started this Twitter phenomenon in Los Angeles, at least.
Well, and then the thing is, the idea that you're doing it like as a couple, or you're doing it with these other people, it's sort of, that could also give it more power. But I think one of the things about it also is that a lot of them actually don't take that long. That's part of what's gratifying when you start, is a lot of these. I had one thing that took like 45 seconds that I'd been waiting for like 6 months to do, because I just kept putting it off and putting it off.
What was it?
Oh, it was some complex email related to, I don't even know what, but it was just like, I just had to focus enough to like put it into words and look up the person's email. And then when it was done, I just felt this huge sense of relief. Or, one thing is like making an album out of my digital photos. If I just can let that go and month after month after month goes by. But, if every once in a while I do it, then also, first of all, I remember how to do it, which is kind of taxing for me. So it's easier. And it's just not such a huge task if I do it periodically. But there's never a cue to do it. I have to decide to do it. And that's why it goes into Power Hour. Oh, but here's something I wanted to tell you that's cool about the name Power Hour. It's an example of what's called the fluency heuristic, which is that ideas that are easier to remember or say seem more valuable, which is why Power Hour sounds like more fun than to-do list time, because to-do list time, it just sounds boring, but Power Hour has kind of a nice ring to it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're taking charge and you're going to just pummel that hour into submission.
Yes. Coming up, we've got one more hack, one that can change how your day ends. It's a simple habit that helps you clear up your space and get things in order so tomorrow feels much easier from the jump. But first, this break. So Elizabeth, this week our Try This at Home tip is to end each stage of your day with a 10-minute closer.
That sounds good. What is it exactly? I like the title.
So this is an idea I write about in my book, Outer Order, Inner Calm. And the idea of the 10-minute closer came to me because, when you're with children, you are so careful to give them transition times. Like we're told as parents and teachers and everything, like they need notice. They need to be kind of gently guided from one activity to another. They need transitions. You can't just abruptly expect them to go from one thing to another. They can't just go from active play into bed. They can't be busily crayoning something and then all of a sudden put their stuff away and go to lunch with no warning. And like many things having to do with raising children, I think that things that apply to children apply to adults just as much. And I think that we need transitions as adults.
Yeah, we all need transitions. It helps so that you're not just abruptly, trying to put yourself in a totally different mindset.
Yeah, I think that's very hard for people to do. It's certainly hard for me to do. I need a lot of transition time. And I think a great way to build in that transition that's very helpful and effective is to use a 10-minute closer to spend 10 minutes kind of cleaning up, lightly cleaning up whatever stage you've been in as a way to kind of put an end to that part of your day and to say, and now I'm going to move into the next part of my day. And then, of course, the nice thing about using your 10-minute closer in that way is that when you come back to whatever that stage is, if it's your desk or whatever, it's going to be nicer because you have spent that time cleaning it up.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. So what do you do at the end of your workday, Gretch? Do you have a routine?
Yes. And I've started doing this, and I have to say it's calming. It kind of gives you that feeling of you've checked something off, okay, my day is done. And then in the morning, it's so much nicer because my desk in my office is so much cleaner. So what I do is, first of all, I glance over my calendar for the next day. And this has saved me many, many kind of panic attacks. I get rid of all the dirty dishes. I throw away trash, like if I have a dried out pen or I have a food wrapper or something. I put loose change in my change envelope, which I carry around in my backpack. I put away pens and paper clips and binder clips and, my stapler and all this stuff that just gets scattered out over my day. I toss any paper. I constantly am making notes to myself, and that can accumulate. And then I'm like, what is this? I have to look at it. So I stay on top of that. File things, and anything I've used. Like just recently, I had to consult Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So I had it up there, and I'm like, okay, well, I've done what I need to do. Now it's time to put Harry Potter back on the shelf.
That's great. As you can imagine, I never do this.
Yeah.
And I should, because if I had Harry Potter out, it would probably be on my desk for the next 3 years until you came to Clutter Clear again.
That's why I love to come, yes.
But I do think this would be a great mental exercise for me, both just putting the stuff away and mentally letting go of the workday. I mean, I think for me, it's hard to transition because I feel like I should always do more work.
Yeah.
So it's this ritual would be me accepting I'm done with work, which would probably be a good thing because then I can more fully relax.
Well, it's interesting because Thoreau said, I love a broad margin to my life. And I feel like you're rushing from one thing to the next thing. You are always trying to do one more thing right before you go to the door. And that's part of why you're so productive and effective. But it can kind of give you this feeling of being overwhelmed. And then you can't find anything. And then where is that? And then there's just a bunch of trash everywhere. If you can take the 10 minutes and do it, I found that it really does put me in a calmer state of mind, and then I enter in more easily the next day. Because, I don't know if you have this thing where you walk into your office. Also, you share an office. So it's you walk in and you're just hit by, oh my gosh, this explosion of stuff that has to be used and sorted and understood. And it can feel overwhelming just to step in across the threshold in the morning.
Yeah, and I mean, I will also say that I think you talk about doing this before bed.
Yeah,
and
that's another
I think
transition.
That for me would be an even bigger deal. So let's talk about doing it before bed.
Yeah, well, what are the kind of things you can imagine doing before bed? If you were going to make because you don't naturally do this. This is true. This for you would take a lot of deliberate, you would have to make up your mind to do it.
Yeah, but I think I should. Putting stuff away, again, it's the kind of the same things. It's putting stuff away, dirty dishes, trash. also like, I don't know if this counts, like doing skincare regime.
Yeah.
Or if that's another, if that's like a whole other routine.
It can be whatever you want it to be. But yeah.
Going through the mail and getting rid of junk mail.
Yeah.
Putting the remote, in its charger. I mean, putting shoes away would be a big one for me.
Shoes away, jackets, coats, stuff like that. And then just things that are very just cosmetic, but that I think calm you down, like putting chairs back on, like our kitchen table chairs are always out all over the place. Just putting those back, closing drawers, cabinets, closets, that kind of, it just looks more orderly and it doesn't take any time. For us, dog toys. Barnaby loves dog toys. And by the end of the day, there's like 10 dog toys all over the place. And it just looks messy. And then if I put them away, it's very disproportionate effect.
And then you would be so nice to walk out in the morning and, it's so nice and ready for the day. I mean, the funny thing, Gretch, for me is, Adam and I, like, we have two things that we fight about over and over. One is our struggle over like being on time, me wanting to be on time, him not caring. And the other one is me being messy.
It's funny, they're very symmetrical.
Yeah.
I feel like
they are, right? But if I just did this every day, it would probably like improve my marriage like noticeably. So I want to do this, and I want you to like check in with me.
Okay, I will.
In a month and see if I'm following through and the impact it's having. Because I think if I would just do this every day, it would take care of so many of those things that annoy Adam.
But also, like, maybe because you're the queen of reframing, is to think of it as like you're not doing it for him, even though you are doing it for him, but you're doing it for yourself because it's going to calm you. I mean, you have racing thoughts at night. It's going to help you sleep. It's a way to like create an environment it's like a way for you to wind down. It's a kind of clutter clearing meditation, like it's something that you can enjoy. And I find it very relaxing. It's just like, and I don't do anything hard. I don't make any decisions. It's just the grunt work. And so, and I do find that it makes it easier to move through the day and then you can look back and you're like, oh, everything looks so nice. It gives you that little feeling of like accomplishment that is very energizing. And it is true that for most people, outer order contributes to inner calm. It just does. And if you can find those little ways of creating outer order without having to feel like you need to take off the whole weekend and clean out the garage, it just gives you that little boost.
Yeah, and I could see that if I do this nightly, it would start triggering like sleep feelings.
We hope this episode made you happier. Remember, what we do every day matters more than what we do once in a while, and that is especially true when it comes to dealing with clutter. If you want to go deeper on any of these strategies or explore more of our favorite clutter clearing ideas, you can find it all at happiercast.com/organization. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you to our producer, Chuck. The best time to start a happiness project was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.